No Jamar, what does LSU have in store for the SEC Western Division chase in 2020? MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, breaking down the revised SEC schedules with 10 conference games and no out-of-conference opponents. So we are down to LSU and Alabama. Please check out the previous videos and let us know what you think. Give us your record projection, and of course, like, comment, share the videos out on social media. That helps spread the word that we're here talking college football every day. Also, subscribe. That way you hit the bell for the notifications and know when we go live. Let's talk LSU football. Of course, as you've seen in the previous videos, we get the football power index probability of a win number compared to my number. Of course, I made my selection without knowing the FPI, so I would not be influenced. LSU takes on Mississippi State, lightly regarded by the power index and myself to a certain extent, but basically, the power index is guaranteeing that Mississippi State is a loser in about 8 games. With these type of numbers, 96% certainty, and we're talking about a team that has generally won, talking Mississippi State, 6, 7, 8 games, going to bowl games, being a decent top 35 to 40 team in the nation, vying for top 25 status over the last 5, 6, 7 years. And, man, not well regarded by the statisticians. All right, LSU wins that game. Then we've got a date against Vandy, and actually, the Tigers are in great shape out of the gate, taking on Mississippi State, Vandy, and Missouri. In a packed SEC, best conference in college football, that's about as light as it can possibly get, just about. And LSU has a certainty, according to the FBI, of 96, 97, and 95% against those 3 games. I am pulling off the throttle just a tad and leaving up touch of a room for an upset there. All right, then it gets difficult. On the road against Florida, South Carolina, Auburn on the road, Alabama. So a 4-game stretch. Again, South Carolina being the easiest lift there at 92%. I've got it at 85% in favor of the Bayou Bengals. A trip to Florida, that's been an entertaining game the past few years. LSU going to Florida 2 years ago, losing on the final drive of the game. Burrow pick 6, but then coming back with a big 42-point effort and winning a highly entertaining game in Death Valley. But LSU and Miles Brennan go back to Gainesville. I give them a 58% chance of winning on the road. Then coming down the stretch again, a trip to Auburn, which I found it interesting that the FPI and myself are right step for step in declaring that Auburn's a slight upset or a slight favorite at home on the Plains. Alabama is so highly regarded by the FPI in particular that LSU is only given a 32% chance of winning in Tuscaloosa. At home, LSU is only given a 32% chance of beating the Tide. I've got it at 44%. The game at Arkansas is virtually a lock at 91, 97%. Texas A&M, interesting matchup, a game that LSU wiped out the Aggies and embarrassed them 50-7 last year. I've got Texas A&M at home as a slight favorite, similar to the Auburn affair, at 47% LSU, 53% Texas A&M. The FPI likes LSU on the road, and then they conclude with a date against the Rebels in Death Valley at 92 and 90%. So what does LSU do? They go 7-3. 7-3. LSU fans will not be pleased with that. I went into this process thinking LSU would go 8-2 or 9-1, with the loss to Alabama, of course, most likely being the one to target. But most likely an 8-2 outcome, but 7-3 is how it adds up for me, because obviously these results have to match up with the rest of the schedules that I've projected throughout the SEC. So the Alabama one's already filled out. I should have you watch all the other videos, and then you'll be able to do the Alabama video for me. But we will provide that service next. According to the FPI, I need to add it up here. LSU is an underdog twice, right? 46 and 32%. 46 and 32%. So the FPI has LSU going 8-2, but a couple other questionable calls with Florida, just 54%. And again, I've got LSU the favorite in all but 3 games. So I am considering them the slight, very slight underdog in 3 games but also I'm making the call over here. So again, my percentage probability doesn't necessarily always translate to a win if you're over 50%. That simply means that I believe that LSU would win that many times out of 100 games at that site against that team. But 20 to 22%, something in that range, about 22-23% of the games in top 25 action and the Power 5, I've charted it over the last 3 years, are upsets. So you got to find the upsets if you're going to make projections that are reasonable, that are meaningful. Otherwise, if we're just selecting chalk, then you don't need me. You just go to the FPI and look at the chalk and you can figure it out. If everybody just wins the games they're supposed to win and loses the games they're supposed to lose. LSU goes 7-3. They're probably one of the top 10 to 12 teams in the country still, despite the 3 losses. Keep in mind that if you're a team in the SEC and you typically go 9-3, 10-2, well, you're losing all those games in conference. So you don't have the group of 5 in the FCS to pad the record. So a lot of these 7-3 finishes, they're basically 9-3 finishes in a typical 12-game college football season. Those are our thoughts on the LSU Tigers game by game in 2020 right here at MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football. Please like, comment, share the videos on social media, and of course subscribe.